Guys, welcome to the UEFA Champions League semifinals first leg predictions. And before we start predicting, guys, these are the actual semifinals. Arsenal versus PSG and Barcelona versus Inter Milan. Guys, you know, after so many years, there's actually something special that's in this semifinal that I'm going to talk about right now. And that is the desire, the different goals that these teams have. Normally, we see Bayern Munich, we see Real Madrid in the semifinals, of course, but this time it's completely different. On one side, we have Arsenal and PSG, who have never won the Champions League, like never in their whole history. They have been finalists at one time, PSG being a finalist in 2020, and Arsenal being a finalist in 2006. But they've never won the Champions League. So there's a desire of winning the Champions League, which is the first time that they can do it this season. But on the other side, guys, Barcelona and Inter Milan, who have won the Champions League multiple times, Barcelona 5 times, Inter Milan 3 times, but a very long time ago. Like the last one that they won was a very long time ago. Now, Inter Milan have been finalists in the Champions League 2 years ago, in which they lost versus Manchester City. But they have won the Champions League 15 years ago, which is the last time they won it. 15 years ago, and in 2010, in which they also won the treble that year. And Barcelona also 10 years ago in 2015, in which they also won the treble. So they have won Champions League, but very long time ago. And that's a lot of years, 10 years, 15 years, that's a lot of years. So there's a different kind of desire in every single team that's present in this semifinals. 2 of them won their first ever Champions League title, and 2 of them want to win it after a very long time. So that's what makes this semifinals so interesting to watch. But now, guys, with that said, let's now get into the actual predictions. Now, guys, let's start with the Tuesday fixture, which is Arsenal versus PSG. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a very interesting one because we're going to see who is going to reach the final first, okay? Because both of them have never won the Champions League. So we're going to actually see one of these in the final and maybe even one win the final. But coming to the actual predictions, guys, this is actually very hard to predict. Because the way that these two have played so far in the Champions League, Arsenal qualified directly to the round of 16. PSG had to play a playoff in which they won 10-0 in aggregate versus a team in the League 1, which is Brest. They won 10-0 in the playoff. Arsenal didn't have to play the playoff. They played with PSV, in which they won 9-3 in aggregate. And then they knocked out Real Madrid with an aggregate of 5-1. So that's a very strong point to look that Arsenal is very good in the Champions League so far. And PSG also knocked out Liverpool in the round of 16. The best team at that time, the best team in the world was Liverpool at that time. So they knocked them off. And then they knocked out another English team, Aston Villa, with an aggregate of 5-4. 3-1 in the first leg and 3-2 loss in the second leg, but still they qualified. So both teams have had a very good journey. And now PSG are actually going to play against another English side, the third English side that they are going to come up in this knockout stage of the Champions League. So it's very interesting to see. But also we need to consider that this PSG is the best version of PSG in recent years. Like, it's literally a very dangerous team, to be honest. Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar PSG was not that good as this one. Everyone knows that. So it's going to be very interesting to see that our Arsenal actually going to be able to handle this PSG. It's going to be very interesting to see. But there are a couple of things that are very common in these two sides. And the first thing is the defensive display of both teams. Both teams have a very good defensive line. Starting with PSG, there's Donnarumma, of course, in goal. Nuno Mendes, who is the best left back right now in the world. Achraf Hakimi in the right. Marquinhos. Beraldo, also in the middle. So there is a very good defensive back line. And both these teams have conceded the lessest goals in Europe. Arsenal, of course, being on top of PSG in terms of that, but still, Arsenal's back line, even though there's no Gabriel, there's Kiwior, there's William Saliba. There's Miles Lewis Skelly, Julian Timber, David Rea. Solid backline for Arsenal. This backline actually prevented Real Madrid from scoring goals. That one goal that they scored, Real Madrid, was Vinicius Jr. It was a sloppy goal. Let's just not consider that as a goal. They completely shut down the Galacticos. This backline, with no Gabriel, there's Kiwior, and still they shut it down. So both have very good defensive displays. And of course, Liverpool being a very good attacking team in Europe, that backline completely shut down the best player in the world at that time, Mohamed Salah. And I said at that time because right now he's out of form a little bit. But at that time, Nuno Mendes completely shut down Mohamed Salah. So both teams, in terms of defensive-wise, they're very good. But who is going to win this matchup? That's the actual question. And here, we need to look at the attack of the teams. On the attack, PSG have the best attack when it comes to these two teams. Kovica Kvaratskhelia, Bradley Barcola, Dembele, who has been one of the best players in the world right now. The top goal scorer in the League One. And the thing is that PSG also have another advantage, which I forgot to mention, that they already won the league. So they can actually put more emphasis on the Champions League rather than the League One. So that's also an advantage for PSG. Arsenal also, if they win, they lose, they're going to still, hang out in that second place of the Premier League because they haven't won anything so far this season. But still, looking at the PSG's attack, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. But the Arsenal attack, on the other hand, has been very dangerous when it came to... But the thing is that Arsenal's attack is different from PSG. Actually, they're very kind of similar because the fullbacks come all the way up, put crosses, allow the wingers to actually come closer to goal. And the same is with Arsenal. Miles Lewis Skelly always comes all the way up. Julian Timber all the way up. Also in the midfield, allowing the wingers to, come closer to the goal, start to create chances. So both have a very good, similar kind of style of play. But the attacking quality of PSG is way better than Arsenal. Even though there's Saka. But I don't think that one player versus those three players that I just mentioned, Kovica Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, Dembele, Doué, I forgot Desire Doué has been one of the best talents right now in Europe. So it's going to be a very close one. But I'm actually going to lean a little bit towards Arsenal in the first leg. I don't know what's going to happen in the second leg. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Arsenal. 2-0 just because, listen, defensively, Arsenal have been the best team defensively so far this season. And after that, I think it's PSG. So I think a 2-0 win in the first leg for Arsenal is a very decent one, to be honest, in the first leg. I don't know what's going to happen in the second leg. We're going to talk about it in the second leg prediction video. But for the first leg, guys, I'm going to go with 2-0. Just considering that Arsenal attack is not that bad. And especially Saka can do something from that right wing of his. Okay? So, yeah. And of course, there's Declan Rice, who creates chances, who plays very good football, controls the midfield. So, also PSG have a very good midfielder, Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz. But I don't think that in the first leg, PSG can win over Arsenal. So I'm going to go with 2-0. And that's my prediction. But now, guys, coming to the second match, which is on Wednesday, Barcelona versus Inter Milan. Now, first of all, guys, Barcelona has been the best team so far in Europe this season. I don't think that any team is better than Barcelona, even though recently their form has been a little bit shaky, conceding hat-tricks, conceding a lot of goals. But still, they have been the best team and the most entertaining team so far this season. And even with those youngsters, 19-year-olds, 17-year-old, 18 years old, like so many youngsters in that Barcelona squad, but so much maturity that we have been seeing throughout the season. Like, for example, let me just recall from just 2 days ago in the final versus Real Madrid, the Copa del Rey. They were 1-0 up, and then they went 2-1 down in the 77th minute. Real Madrid came up with a comeback. Now, at this point, guys, I'm going to be very honest. I did not expect Barcelona to make a comeback in that position, like in that scenario. But look at what they did. Made it 2-2, and then in extra time, they won it for Barcelona. So the mentality is the one that's differentiating this Barcelona side. That because listen, if it was last season or the season before that, I would definitely say in that position, Barcelona is not going to come back, and the title is gone. But look at what they did. They came back, and they won the title, and that is what makes this Barcelona side, even though it's so young. Only like 22 is the average age of this Barcelona squad, which is the lowest average age in Europe of a squad. They won the Copa del Rey like that. Then they've won so many matches with a big scoreline. Lamine Yamal, phenomenal. Lewandowski is injured, but still, Ferran Torres, phenomenal. Rafinha has been one of the best players and a Ballon d'Or contender right now. Pedri, the best midfielder in the world. Pau Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, that partnership, mind-blowing. So, and there are a couple of, injuries, like, for example, Alejandro Balde, as I said, Lewandowski, as I said, but still, they can do it. On the other hand, guys, Inter Milan has been one of the most scariest teams. Barcelona has been the best team, but Inter Milan has been the scariest team in the world right now. That 3-5-2 of Inter Milan is very scary. And it's not the players or anything, it's the tactics. Sometimes you see defenders in the midfield, and the midfield you're going to see in the defense. Sometimes you see defenders who are central defenders running upwards and then providing crosses for the two strikers who are Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram. The fullbacks coming all the way up, all the way down, Di Marco and Darmian. Sometimes Dumfries plays there. Sometimes I don't know which other players also play there. So that 3-5-2 of Inter Milan has been very scary. But I don't think that for Barcelona is going to be a very big job to handle that 3-5-2. And both of these teams were of course going for the treble. Barcelona still going for the treble, but Inter Milan fold out from the treble after that 3-0 loss versus AC Milan in the Coppa Italia semifinals. But also PSG is also going for the treble. But the thing is, guys, when it comes to this match, I think that Barcelona, even though their form is a little bit sloppy in recent times, they're still going to do it. That's 3-5-2 of Inter Milan. It's going to be a very close one. It's going to be a very close one. I can say that. But in terms of winning and who going to the final, I think it's going to be Barcelona, bro. They have been the best team in the world. They have the best attack in the world. And even defensive-wise, that connection of Pau Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez has been very good. Koundé has been a monster in the right back. And I'm not saying all this because I'm a Barcelona fan. I'm saying this because it's real. It's real. We all seen it. Okay? Barcelona haven't lost a single game in 2025 except for that 3-1 loss versus Dortmund. That's the only match that they lost. So there's no surprise that Barcelona are the favorites of winning the Champions League. But even in this matchup, even with that scary Inter Milan side, and Inter Milan have also been a very good defensive team when it came to the whole league phase. They conceded only 2 goals in 8 matches in the whole league phase of the Champions League. So defensive-wise, they're the better team. We have conceded hat-tricks in recent times. Guirassy, Borja Iglesias. We've conceded a hat-trick versus these two. And a lot of goals throughout the way. But still, guys, I don't think that Inter Milan can actually beat Barcelona, especially at home. I'm going to give my prediction, and that's going to be, first of all, a win in the first leg. 3-0 in the first leg for Barcelona. 3-0. I don't think that Inter Milan are going to score a goal in the first leg. That's what I think. Maybe they can, because their tactics are very, very interesting. And the midfield of them, Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, Barella, has been very good. We all know that. But even our midfield, Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, the best midfielder in the world. Everyone knows that right now. Gavi, Dani Olmo, who is a big threat when it comes to... The only bad part about Barcelona is the absence of Lewandowski. That is the only concern, and the absence of Alejandro Balde. But even Gerard Martin, who plays in that position instead of Alejandro Balde, has been playing very good. We've seen him in the final. A very good, mature fullback. And actually, everyone is so mature at Barcelona, even though being so young. And of course, Lamine Yamal, if he puts that that photo of his in Instagram on a mission, then it's over. There's no coming back for Inter Milan. But yeah, guys, that's my prediction. A 3-0 win for Barcelona. And that's it for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.